And now it's Deborah Cobelt Live and the Little Italy podcast.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for our Little Italy podcast and Deborah Cobelt Live. I'm joined by an amazing human being, Chef Bruno, best known as Bruno. His Anaheim White House Restaurant and his Caterina's Club. I mean, it's all sort of forms together, right? Yesterday, I was at the Anaheim White House Restaurant, that is Bruno's, and they were having what's called the Pastathon. And I'm going to have Bruno explain what is that and what does it do? What does it raise money for? Bruno, thanks for joining us. Would you take it away?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. So excited to be on here with you. And K5 Pastathon is the biggest fundraise for Caterina's Club. Caterina's Club is my foundation, my charity, which my mom and I founded 13 years ago. And we're feeding kids every single day in Orange County. And a long story, but we can talk during the conversation between you and me. And Pastathon, which is K564 AM, has contacted me some years ago and tried to find out what I was doing. I think they heard from Katie Couric on CBS Evening News then. I was a CNN hero, which was all over CNN, and People magazine did an interview on me for feeding underprivileged kids or kids in need. And Pastathon decided to collect in pasta, tomato sauce, and money for my charity. And it started 13 years ago. And it went from a good amount of money then to an amazing amount of money today with other partners which has joined us, which before we just gave 564 AM Pastathon alone. But now we have a Smart and Fino, we have a Wendy's restaurant, Barilla Pasta, all together do their own things to collect what we needed the most for the children. And it turned out to be magical, magical. Last night was crazy because of COVID, because the restaurant was on fire. We could not do it the last 5, 6 years. And
Yeah.
we came back last night for the first time, full day. I was there at 5 a.m. and I got home at 11 p.m. That was a 17-hour straight of Pastathon, taking phone call, interview for every celebrity radio person. And fun, great, tired, but worth it every second.
Yeah, what happens is people come, all of the shows on KFI were live, including my husband's show, the John and Ken show. And people stop by, they get to watch the show live, but they also donate. They come and donate, they bring pasta, they bring sauce. And it's an extraordinary experience, and it happens at Bruno's Anaheim White House Restaurant. It's a family atmosphere. People have been coming year in and year out. Of course, not the past few years, and it is a beautiful experience to see this. And the level of generosity is incredible. Now, in just this one day, so far, and it's continued, how much has been raised so far?
As last night was 853,000 of money, but there's also, I think, if I'm not wrong, over 50, maybe 65,000 pounds of pasta and sauce together. But the beautiful feeling that, like, when you're there, is an Italian family. You know, Italian family together, they sing, they dance, they eat, they drink. That's what it was yesterday. I mean, we are in California, but they bring an Italian community. I feel like I was in an Italian village. Everybody come to help, because in Italy, if you're in a small village, you have a family need help. Everybody come together. And
yes,
I feel like I'm really in my country yesterday with all the American people. It's cool. You have to come to see it, because when you see photo and when I talk about it, you can get a imagination. But when you are there that day, wow! I mean, I probably take 500 photo, autograph, and hug thousands of people. In fact, this morning I was talking to my family in Italy, because they obviously call me. Say, I was Pastathon. I say, oh my God! I said I was keeping kissing and hugging people all day long, but there was about 1,000. much
They're
more
unbelievable.
than any other year. Many more people than any other year yesterday.
Yeah, because people were just excited to come out. It's an extraordinary experience. Let's back it up a little bit for people who don't know your story, right? When did you come here from Italy? And how did you make it to because I know you weren't a restaurant owner when you came here, that's for sure. What's your story that you ended up as the owner of the Anaheim White House
I
Restaurant? Go ahead.
Let's start from mom and dad.
Yeah.
1945, World War II, everything is destroyed. They cannot find a job. They want to start their own family. By 1951, they still have hard time to surviving, like a lot of the people, because the World War II destroyed. They moved to France to pick up
Mm.
potatoes and beets. And
Oh
very
wow.
poor. They have 7 kids. I was one of the 7. I always mention the cutest one of the 7 is me. Beside, beside that, they worked for 16 years over there to
I
pick up
love it.
potatoes and beets. I used to eat pasta every day because it was the cheapest things. Mom cannot afford it with dad. Leftover bread, milk at nighttime. And my clothes was always donated from people across the street. I mean,
Mm.
when people always ask me, say, why you been doing what you've been doing for so many years? Well, my mom, dad, my grandfather was a shepherd, Italian shepherd with sheep. During the war, people used to come to see me. Giovanni, Giovanni, un po' di latte, un po' di formaggio, a little bit of milk, a little bit of cheese. People don't food, but grandpa, lucky enough, he has those 20, 30 sheep with him. And that's my DNA came from. My mom, dad,
Wow.
that's it. Went back to Italy. I'm from Verona. Outside of Verona, a small town which is world famous for the wine, Soave. Soave is my hometown near to Verona. Mom and dad went back there and I started to work and everything. But by 1980, I went to Air Force in Rome. It was mandatory in Italy. I did 1 year in Pratica di Mare outside of Rome. But by 1980, I was looking for something better. I was a waiter all my life, but at 14 years old, mom and dad bought a mom and pop little trattoria, like almost bed and breakfast thing. And I worked with mom for 6 years with there. That was my first wet feet in the restaurant business. Went to the Air Force, came back, waiter in Garda Lake near to Verona. I mean, my life was happy, always working 15, 16 hours a day. But by 1980, I said, I should learn English because I speak French, because mom and dad live in France. I speak Italian. If I learn English, I can find a better job to make a little bit more money. My sister, which married a GI right here in Orange County, I said, call her up and say, Stella, can I stay with you for a few months? I had no money. As you know, in Italy, I was a waiter. I was making $300 a month, maybe if I was lucky. She said, oh, yeah, she was exciting. Her and my niece and nephew and my brother-in-law, Fred, came over. But me, to be used to work 15, 16 hours a day, I was bored. After 2 weeks, I was in California. I said, Stella, I need to do something. I will not be able to stay home all day long.
Right.
And she said, well, you know what? They just opened a good French restaurant very close to the house, like 10, 15 minutes drive, called La Viande Rose in Brea. I went to apply there. And because I speak French, my little bit of the door was open, but I didn't speak English. The GM said, well, Mr. Bruno, I know you work in a business for so many years, but since you don't speak English, the only job you can give is a dishwasher. And I was excited. My sister was a little bit embarrassed to tell me, but I was happy. I just want to work.
Right. Right.
To work a dishwasher, busboy, waiter, general manager. After 4 years, I was in this country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 1986, after 6 years, I won Metro D of the Year in South California, which was the Academy Award of restaurant business then. Not anymore, but then it was big. In 87, my name was getting around. People tried to hire me, but I love La Vie en Rose so much, I never want to leave. In 87, White House Restaurant was for sale. So a friend of mine called me and said, hey, Bruno, the restaurant is for sale. You should talk to the owner. I say, are you out of your mind? I say, I came to this country some few years ago with $200 in my pocket. Now I have 100 if I'm lucky. You know what I mean. But I met this amazing man, Deborah, which is a business construction guy, owned a lot of motel in Anaheim area. Stovo, Jim Stovo is his name. I went to talk to him with my former boss, Louis Loller, and talk to him. He gave us the price of the restaurant. When he looked at me and he asked how much money I had to come up to pay for him. I always tell the truth. I look at him in the eyes and say, I have no money. I didn't have any money to buy $1 million restaurant. He looked at me for a few seconds, put his hand, shake my hand, say, I like your honesty. I was like, wow. A week later, I was inside.
Oh.
Handshake.
That.
You know, in Italy, I think about Italy because in Italy, in the piazza, you do the deal for the horses, for the pig, for the cow. You do handshake without lawyer, without a notary, without nothing. That's what used to be years ago. It happened to me 3 years ago with Jim Stowe when he gave me a handshake because he said, I trusted you. Lease the place for 3 years, pay him the rent every month, and a little bit of the time get SBA loan and help and here, there too. I was able to own my own restaurant. And that is my story to come to America. Now, April 18, 2005, 13 years ago, 18 years ago, I mean, Mom, winter time, America flew from Verona with my dad, spent December, January, February, because it's freezing cold. But today, my brother said, Bruno, it's so cold over here. So that's the reason I moved to California. I mean, she stayed for 3 months, you know, because tourist visas, 3 months after she got back home. On April 18, we went to a Boys Girls Club in Anaheim. Show her around kids. Because Mom loved kids. I mean, Mom loved kids from the first day I met her. Like she always loved kids. Show her around the Boys Girls Club. Kids come there, hug Grandma Caterina. And she was so happy to be a bunch of kids in Anaheim Boys Girls Club. But the director came to me about a little kid who was eating potato chips. And he said, Chef Bruno, do you know that that is his only dinner tonight? I look at him and said, what are you talking about? He said, well, this kid is probably living in a motel. I look at him and said, what do you mean motel? He said, well, when you see motel sign, we think it's a cheap place for tourists to live, right? In 1955, it was the tourist place for Disneyland area. But Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt came. Now those motels start to be residents for a lot of people, poor people, drug addict, drug dealer, etc., etc. I mean, it's not a great environment. I mean, the kids, if you go home tonight, let's say it's a bad mom, she won't even cook for him. Or even if she wants to cook for him in the motel room, there's no kitchen.
No kitchen, right.
And I translate in Italian to Mom. And what an Italian mom told me, ma Bruno, fai la pasta asciutta. Just give him a plate of pasta. I said, okay. We went back together to the restaurant, make the first pasta, bring some to the kid. Think that's it is over. But I never stopped. I did the day after, the day after, the day after. And now it's 18 and a half years we've been doing that every single day. We start with one kid. I remember 2011 I was nominated as CNN hero. We used to be 300 kids a day. And we keep growing, growing, growing. Now we are in 30 cities in Orange County, in 115 locations in Orange County, 5,000 meals a day. Recently, we celebrated the 9 million meals served. And also, we serve also LA County because Skid Row and Long Beach, which is LA County, we have a 7-8 facility, I think, in Long Beach also. I mean, Orange County alone, we are close to have served 10 million meals. But not the magic moment has happened because I've been featured all over the news. I've been featured to Latin news in Italy, Antonella Clerici, Rai 1, Rai 2, Rai 3, etc., etc. CNN, ABC, NBC. I think I've been featured every magazine TV around the world. But there's not the ego things I'm talking about that. It's just because people saw me and got inspired by what I do.
Right.
I mean,
That's
some
right.
of the Caterina's project has been done in Texas, Chicago, New York, Philippines, India, Nepal, Africa, Italy, obviously, Mexico. I mean, dozens and dozens of audio Caterina space has opened in charge of the people then got inspired by me. I mean, not only I did a 9.5 million meals served in Orange County, but hundreds of thousands has been served around the world. And I'm very happy about that, that people get inspired by what I do. And just recently, I was talking to Tim Conway last night. Then some people came from Oklahoma, talked to me a year ago. How did I do this? I expressed to them my way to do so. They came back a few months ago and they said, Bruno, we have good news for you. I said, what? I said, you remember you're from Oklahoma? I said, oh, yeah, no, I remember. I said, well, now we're serving 20,000 kids a month.
Wow.
Wow. It's painting all over. You know? That's very excited. But feeding the kids has not stopped just right there. And I have 3 projects on Caterina's Club. That's the reason K5 Pastathon is huge for us, because I could not do what I do today without K5. The second project is Welcome Home. Welcome Home is a project that's very dear to me today because it's life-changing. I mean, people die if you don't give them food, but change life completely to kids and to mom and dad, it's magical. 12 years ago, I met a family, and they used to live in a motel room, 6 people, 4 kids, mom and dad, for 12 years in one room. The little girl used to do her homework sitting on the toilet because that's the quietest place that she had in the room. I started to investigate about why you guys live in a motel room. It's not cheap. You have to pay. You could pay your rent almost the same amount of money, if it's not even less. Well, I said, Bruno said, we would love to, but we don't have the first and last month down payment that everybody is asking for. So all the money I make is to survive day by day.
Right.
How can I save $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for down payment? I said, yeah, that makes sense. And I said, well, how about if I help you to pay first and last month? Would you move to an apartment? Originally, they said no. So what you want from us? Why you want to help me? Nobody never has to help. I mean, he was so shocked. Then a guy from Italy will say, how can I help you? I want to help you. He was overwhelmed by that word of mine, which is something I do all my life. Can I help you? I do help people. Anyway, I pay him first and last month. Move them out. Now they've been living there for 11 years, happy. When I do that, sometime I get text, Bruno, you move my family out. My kids were the worst in the class. After we move us to an apartment, he came home with student of the month. Last week, think about one family I moved 12 years ago. Last week, I moved one guy with a 2-year-old kid and a girlfriend. He was living part-time in a motel room, part-time in a car to save the money to pay food and everything. He's working, construction guy, make a decent money, but could never save $5,000 to move out. That means I qualify him because they got true qualification. They have to have children, no drug, no drinking. Yeah, that's one is fine, but I mean, not alcoholic, things like that. I have to check the paychecks in case we help them because they needed to pay their own rent after that. Well, the guy that moved last weekend was a family number 268. I mean, we already moved out a 268 family to a safety environment for children and family. Kids, academically, emotionally, mentally, they so much better off. They are happier. I remember a young girl, 5, 6 years ago, I think it was with John and Kat. Then we interviewed, she said, I don't have any friends. I said, why? I'm too embarrassed to have a friend come to my place. She used to live in a motel room. And I can go on for 2 hours of a story, then I hear with children. Horrible situation. I mean, and today my girl's in the office after working 17 hours. She said, guess what? We may have a family number 269. As a lady with 3 kids, she qualifies, she looked for the apartment. As soon as she has, we can qualify for a paid for the last month. Life change. And you give a dignity back to mom and dad. If you're a mom or if you're a dad, you have children, you live in a parking lot, motel room, in a garage, in a car, you cannot feel good. You feel sad, horrible that you cannot give your kids what you would like to do. By helping the mom and dad by pay first and last month, we give a dignity back to the adult besides safety issue and life to the children. That is the work project.
Let me ask you, Bruno, when you started feeding, okay, let's go back to the feeding for a moment. It was one and then 300. Today it's 5,000 a day just here in the Anaheim area alone. Um, the need is getting bigger and bigger. What is happening, do you think, out there where the need is just growing bigger and bigger? And then you think about the parallel in Italy, where you've got the piazza, where people in the community come out and they help each other. What is it that's happening in the US? We don't have that, where there's so much need because nobody really is reaching out to their neighbor. How can we change that, Bruno? How can we change that?
Well, by listening my story, I just always hope that some people get touched by.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
very poor. I told you earlier, I wear clothes from people across the street. I eat pasta. But some people in this small village, there was north of France, Laon, north of Paris, people would give it to my mom, would help them. They didn't have much either. They were not rich either. But because mom had 7 kids, and they will give a clothes, they will give a pasta, they will give tomato. And pasta, tomato sauce, we know is not expensive. I mean, if you find somebody is hungry, give a plate of pasta. I done a lot of speech in Italy, all over the country when I launched my book, Power of Pasta. It was done in Italy too. I went to maybe 20 different school, young crew, everything. I was teaching them one plate of pasta is not expensive, but let's say you don't have that $1 or $2 to give a plate of pasta to an elderly person, an adult. Just say hi, how are you? You make them smile. That is worth it, $1 million. Here I deal with extremely wealthy people. My restaurant, I got the poor people, the medium people, the rich people come, right? Sometimes I see people are very generous, and I pray God to thank you for doing a donation, but not only to me, to even other organizations, because you can make an impact. And if you don't, or you don't want to, because you want to buy yourself a diamond ring and don't care about other people, it's your issue, but not my issue. I don't look at what people do. I respect everybody. To change is to, like you do with me today, like K5 did with me today. I do a speech for 1,000 people in few hours. Talk about my history, my story. I'm inspiring people, like I told you earlier, all over the world. Get inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, the change is to keep talking, get interview, or let people know what you do, and maybe other people will follow. A lot of people follow me. Usually on my speech, I say one quote by Mother Teresa. There's a lot of good people out there, and I do believe there's a lot of good people out there. But if you can find one, be one. That's it. Use that quote in your life. There's a lot of good people out there. If you cannot find one, be one. That's it. That changed the world. When you look TV, you see the war in Ukraine, Russia, Jerusalem, Palestinian. I don't need missile. I don't need gun. I don't need the nuclear things. I don't need tank. I don't need a pistol. I just need pasta. And I will win the war against hunger, because we still have a lot of people that are hungry. I mean, without gun, without missile, I'm going to win the war against hunger, feeding pasta in need.
And also keeping your eyes open. Look at what your mom did. Her eyes were open and she saw that the children weren't getting fed, right? So you have to look around a little bit too, like Mama Caterina, right? What was
Listen
Mama?
and look. Oh,
Say it again.
Listen and look. Listen what people say and look around. You're always going to find somebody in need. Always. Always.
Do you feel, you said earlier to me actually, that you always feel mom around you. You said yesterday that you were talking to her. You always talk to her and say, could you tell us a little bit about because mom sadly has passed away, but she's still here, right? We feel her here. Talk to me about it.
She never left me. She never left my family. She never left us. You know, people go to heaven. We sad, we cry, we go through our time. Like I did. I love my mom so much. We all did. But I remember one time she told me, I hope kids never forget about me. It's once in a while bring me a flower.
Oh.
I said, Mom, we never will forget about you. Every single day when she used to be alive, I used to use Skype. There was no Zoom yet. And I used to talk to her for a few minutes before I go to work. I used to sing a song to her. She left 10 years ago. I wake up in the morning. I look at her picture next to my kitchen, and I sing the same song every single day for the last 10 years. She has not left. When I go to work, the first lady of the White House photo, her, is by the desk. I'm a little bit slow tonight. I say, Mom, can you send me some customer? I don't like to be slow tonight. You know, I'm not busy all the time. I'm a restaurant, you know, we have up and down. She never left me. She's around me. Yesterday, who was it? I don't know if it was John or Ken or Mo asking me about the mom. She said, what she would have said if she knew what's going on today. I said, first of all, she would think we are all crazy to put her picture and on TV all the time because mom was too humble of a woman to want to see her on TV and everything. And I think it was Momo said, and what she would have said to you for what you have done. She said, son, because she loved me obviously a lot, and she said, son, you did a damn good job. That's what she would say, because she knows, but everything I do is her, my soul, even when I'm exhausted, even when I'm very tired. People have no idea how much I work, but even she gave me the power to keep going till the last second, you know, like, last night it was like 17 hours later. I came home, I couldn't sleep for 2 hours, I was too tired. This morning I wake up, here I am with you, speech in an hour, you know, but she gave me the strength, and she never left us, never left us. She's always around me. And not only me, I'm sure my brother and to the people that she always loved. I mean, every time I see kid eat pasta, I say, this mama's pasta. A friend of mine, my best friend's son died recently, young, around 25. And it was his birthday the other day. Obviously, I text his mom, my best friend, I say, happy birthday to him. I said, but guess what? My mom is in heaven too. She's preparing a 3-star Michelin dinner for him. She's preparing apple cake with candle for him. And my other friend, which also another one that was gone recently, she's preparing a glass of champagne for him. I mean, they're all together. They are not in the bad spot. I mean, we have to accept it, and life on earth is over, but life is never over. It's always keep going.
You've also written books, right? The Power of Pasta is still available, right, on Amazon and probably through your website as well.
It's the history of, like I mentioned earlier, the beginning, my grandfather, France, Italy, United States of America, to where I stand. It was good until 2017, where I was launching. But for people who know, 2017, February, my restaurant went on fire. Lost everything. And devastating cry for weeks, months. Even now, I still get goosebumps just talking about. When the
I
book
know.
was ready to launch, I had to stop. And I stopped, say, I lost everything. I came to America 30 years ago. What will be my future? That's the English version. The Italian version was done almost 2 years later, and I don't know the chapter about I was able to rebuild it and to be where we are today. I mean, the same book, same story, with just a better final with the Italian one, because it's say then I reopened the restaurant and made it look really Italian style. When people come, I love history. I love my country. The Colosseum, Arena Verona, Pisa, everything. I love those buildings. My restaurant, it was built in 1909. It's kind of like the
Right.
Colosseum in California because it's such a big
Right.
building. I mean, we don't have that many old things, right? I mean, when I rebuilt it, I rebuilt the same way that it was 1909. The interior, I make by an Italian artist, a fresco, which are in some church or villa building in Italy to represent my country. And the look, you have some Versace look, some Gucci look, which is, as you know, Italy go and born with art in their own soul. And the White House, when you walk in, you know you are in
Oh,
some country around the world, which is beautiful, like Italy. And even better, since COVID, we were shut down, COVID, we could not open the restaurant inside. After that, they let us open outdoor only. Lucky enough, I have an amazing garden on the front, which I put
yeah, you do.
30 tables. I feel like I'm home. I feel like I'm in Italy. Before,
Yeah.
nobody want to be outside. Oh, it's too hot. I know it's too cold. Now I want to be inside. Now, 80% of the people like to get my outdoor dining. I said, that's what we do in Italy. We wait an hour and a half to get outside table when we go to a restaurant in Europe. Obviously, if it's not freezing cold, but we love to eat outdoor. Last night, like every other night since COVID, I see 20, 30 tables outside full more than the inside
Full.
because they love the outdoor dining. I mean, is a piece of Italy in South California. At Anaheim White House, you will feel like you are in Italy.
Absolutely magnificent. Before I let you go, can you tell me some of the famous faces that have been at your restaurant? I know one is one of your absolute favorites. Would you tell us?
Yeah, but two of the biggest names I have to say that the president, and many people as the president of the United States come to your restaurant. The
Hmm.
President Carter, which unfortunately last night I was looking at Rosalind Carter's funeral and I saw Jimmy there, but when I met him, strong man, and President George W. Bush, Pele, Gwen Stefani, Andrea Bocelli, catering for Madonna, my girl, Vogue strike the pose. I have to be able to do catering for Madonna. Soccer player, my favorite. I mean, I have few favorite, but this one is also the ambassador of Caterina's club, Alessandro Del Piero. You know,
Wonderful.
for Juventus, big name. I have a big name around the world. But you know what? Before Pastaton, I had 300 kids coming for dinner. I mean, where president of the United States, where famous stars, celebrities eating, children that they can't afford it, that they don't even have a house, eat in the same restaurant. That's what I
Hmm.
love most. I mean, if you think about the biggest celebrity on the world, eat, I should say the positive. Children in need eat where the biggest celebrity around the world is eating. That's what I love to share with the kids. Because if I can't do that, you can do that. And I tell people, if I have nothing before, if you have nothing today, you can have a restaurant or any business with celebrity and other regular customers surrounding you. And that's what I love to share the story that children eat where world famous celebrity is eating.
Bruno, you're just extraordinary. Would you tell our audience how they can continue to donate?
If you go to Caterina's caterina's.club.org is our website. You can see everything that is donation availability. Pastathon still has the site for donation, which is K5 Pastathon. But our website, Caterina's Club, if you go to White House, if people don't remember caterina's.club.org, if you go to White House, you will see a link. Please not go directly to caterina's.club.org. That's the donation. You can go down for Caterina.
Absolutely magnificent. Bruno, I can't thank you enough for giving us the time. Is there anything else you want to say to our audience before I let you go? Any words of inspiration, anything at all? Or to your friends back in Italy, please.
It's one thing that I always say is like, it's time to stop to talk about it, but to do something about it. When you hear things like that, it makes you feel like maybe it's time for me to do something. And to all my Italian friends, ciao.
Thank you so much, Bruno. It was just wonderful to see you yesterday. You're always just so delightful. As you said, it was a 17, 18-hour day. You got up and here you are and you're going to do it again. So thank you. And everybody, please go to the Anaheim White House Restaurant, because the minute you walk through the door, you're going to feel like you're somewhere in Italy. There's no doubt about it. Food's incredible. The hospitality is even better. So please, everybody, make sure to show up and donate to the Pastathon. And you can also go on to Bruno's website, White House Restaurant website, however, or stop by, right? And you can still donate with the pasta and the sauce and anything else. Bruno, you really are, what did I say to you earlier? You're a saint. So I think we need to have...
A saint of dead. I don't want to die.
I know. No. But I mean, like sometime in the future, in 150 years from now, there's going to be a campaign for Saint Bruno. How about that? That's what we'll do.
Perfetto. Grazie and ciao.
Grazie and ciao. And everybody, thank you for joining us today for our Little Italy podcast and Deborah Cobalt Live. I'm your host, Deborah Zara Cobalt. And please keep donating. Bruno's story is so inspiring. Every time I hear it, I can't believe it. And I do remember that fire that happened. Oh my gosh, it was devastating for all of us, knowing all the work that you put into it. I just want to say one more thing. The first thing out of Bruno's mouth was the first thing. How am I going to feed the children? It wasn't, oh my gosh, my restaurant. It was, how will I feed the children? And I will tell you, the neighborhood, everybody rallied around you. And with your attitude and your faith and everything else, you rebuilt even bigger and better. So it's absolutely an extraordinary story. So Bruno, thank you so much. And please, everybody, donate. And thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for tuning into our show. You'll find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere on iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and anywhere else that you look up our show, you'll find it. Thanks so much, Bruno. And we'll see everybody later.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.